Student and housekeeping, Austin Jeff.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I'm Alex Dingman.
I am Jeff Doss. What's up, guys? As you can see, we have special guests with us today, Haley and Alex. Welcome, guys. How are y'all doing?
No, pretty good. Have had a great weekend for those who pay attention. UF.
Oh, we're starting with that already?
Wow.
Now Texas is unranked, so it's a great day for me.
Listen. It was a little scary for you guys in the end, but you know,
Scary.
yeah, it's all good.
Okay, so you guys are talking about Texas versus Florida. You guys were mentioning before the pod started that you guys went to the game. It's fine, interesting. So I am not from and do not live in huge college football towns. You guys obviously are in the two biggest college football areas in the country, right?
Yeah, true.
How do you? Everybody watches football and the NFL. Everybody knows it. Would you say you are bigger college football fans than you are NFL fans?
Ooh, that's tough. Honestly, right now, I would say I'm a bigger college football fan. A lot of the games, even the NFL, this year we were talking about it. The NFL, a lot of the games have been very tight for some reason.
Yeah.
Team every game. I'm a Cowboys fan. You know, every year is our year. It doesn't work out, but we'll see. What I like about college football is the atmosphere is different. You know, I had the opportunity last year. I took her to see Texas versus Florida in Texas, and then we went this year and they played in the Swamp.
Yeah.
And the energy in the SEC is just different. You know, the I don't know if it was just time of year or that the starting quarterback wasn't playing for Florida, but when I went to the Swamp 2 days ago, and I told her this was probably the loudest game I've ever been to. And
Real.
yeah,
Well, people were getting on the Apple Watch, like the notifications saying like the volume, like they were in an environment that was over 100 decibels, and it was like spending even 10 minutes in this environment could cause you damage
like
to your
damage
hearing
or whatever.
And also,
That's nuts.
I think for me, college I don't know because I've only been to college games and I love nothing more, but I haven't
Never been to a pro football game.
I haven't. I mean, I watch on TV and like I love going to like a sports bar and like watching on a Sunday, like spending hours and just watching all the games, but I've never been to a game. So I don't think I can really say just yet. Because right now I'm gonna say college because it's so much fun like being at in that environment with a bunch of students just going
It's
crazy.
probably more fun at a college football game.
I think college is. I think college is more fun. I mean,
If
that's
you're
why
gonna
I
go to one in person. That's
used to
probably
go to
way
the
more
college
fun.
one instead. Yeah, that's the same way. Yeah. I mean, and again, it all. I mean, it does depend on where you're at too. But I mean, the school and whatnot. I mean, I've done some crazy ones where I've gone in so many away games for my team and dressed in all of my Clemson gear, and people have just like I've seriously almost gotten to fights and stuff because
It was
We felt
me.
that.
I had my Texas jersey in the student section of the floor of the Swamp, and I was getting just called out left and right, and it was fun though. It's all part of the experience.
But you know what though? At least I don't even think it's that bad because when my wife and I, when we started dating 2 weeks in, we had to have the sports talk. You guys did not do what we did. I was like, let's figure it out. What are we going to do? Right. Gave her first pick. She said the St. Louis Cardinals, which I was like, that doesn't make sense. Right. So, but her dad, his family, that's what they did. They were from the area. That's their thing. So we went to a Cubs Cardinals game, right? You're in Wrigley Field. It's not that big a deal. I wore a Cardinals jersey. I'm in the Cubs fans. No big deal. The strange part is when you go to a game and someone wears a jersey for a team not even playing.
In there.
I saw
Like if you went, all right, like if Cowboys and Giants were playing and somebody shows up in a Dolphins jersey, you'd be like, what's wrong with you? Right? I don't understand that.
No, I saw that this weekend. There was like people in NFL jerseys, and then I want to say I saw somebody in a Georgia jersey, and I was like, all right, that was rude. Like, don't show up to the swamp in a Georgia jersey.
Yeah, that's bad. Bad. Yeah, I mean, I went to a Duke Georgetown basketball game, and there was a group with UNC jerseys on, and that was that was pretty bad. So, oh man, all right. So you guys have been traveling, doing so much. So, of course, this weekend we got a big tournament coming up, and a tournament that's special to both of you guys. So let's just go right into like, what does the Diamond Nationals mean to both of you? You know, in your career and in your future as well.
You go first.
Oh, okay. Being nice. So Diamonds, I've heard, when I first started competing, it's considered the Super Bowl of the tournament, Super Bowl of our league and stuff like that. And at first I was like, why? Why is it? And then I went to a Diamond Nationals, and you got all the teams, all fighters, all competitors there. You win the prestigious diamond ring. That's one that everybody seeks. And it's even more special to me just because when I moved up into the adults, I won the adult weapons back-to-back years in 21 and 2022. So, I tried to three-peat. Didn't happen. It's okay. But diamonds, the energy is just different at that event, and like I said, everybody wants to win that tournament. Like you win a Diamond Nationals, it's like, oh, you can put that under your belt. Like it's not an easy event, So seeking my first fighting ring this year. So let's make it happen.
Heck yeah.
And there are people kind of like what you mentioned that's their major achievement. But like if you say like, all right, winning a diamond ring is your major achievement, yeah, that makes sense. But
Yeah.
like they were like had an out of body experience for that one tournament, and then the rest of their career doesn't really line up the same. And you're like, hey, but you're cemented in that kind of
Right.
brotherhood, sisterhood of this tournament, which is really cool to have something like that. So you know what's interesting though, Alex? You said three-peat. Jeff, I should probably know this, but I don't. Has anybody three-peated?
You mean in what? In which?
Just
yeah,
won 3 rings in a row?
I thought so.
You did.
Who did? Yeah.
So I
Steve-
think Haley, maybe Elsa Cordero,
Yeah, Elsa did. Yeah.
and then probably Nikki Carlson Lee.
I would think Nikki would have, but I don't know. I'm not sure exactly on that. I know there's several that have potential to this year as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's lots of possibilities for the three-peat this year. If you guys that are watching, if you guys know some people that have before or are looking to three-peat this year, that would be an important one to shout out. I feel like Mike Welch. I thought Mike Welch did it in the seniors, but I don't
He
know.
did. That's
Yeah.
true. He
Come
did.
on, hey.
Yeah. So
Ross Levine. No way. Ross Levine didn't.
I don't think so. But he might have.
No,
I
he
don't
didn't.
think. He didn't.
Ross
Um,
Levine does hold something. Alex, you have the opportunity to do this. Ross Levine right now is the only person to ever win a weapons and a fighting diamond. Right?
Right. Yeah. So there
I'm
you
not
go.
saying, I'm
Let's
just saying.
Let's get it. Yeah. The other person to win a forums and a fighting one is Casey.
Yep.
So,
And that's crazy to think that Casey has 2 diamonds and neither
Well,
one of them are weapons.
she got more than 2, but yeah. Because she's won a bunch of forums ones, but no weapons. But the thing is too, when she was doing it, there was not a separate. It was just one weapons grand. It wasn't separate.
That's true.
You know, female, lots of different things were different. And you know what? Like, again, like you said, there's certain people that just had outer body experiences. And you also had John Valera during that time. You also had you had John Sue doing double whip chain. You had a lot of crazy things, right? Yeah. Jake Presley, has he won a bunch? I think he's won that with the weapons, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Traditional weapons. Yeah, I think he has won 3 in a row. Yep.
Yeah.
So, no, I know he didn't win 3 in a row beta for weapons. No, because that would have been like Calvin's time and Matt's time and all that.
Correct.
So, yeah. So here's the deal. If you don't notice, Alex and I, we love the Diamonds. Obviously, Alex is from there, that area. But for me, growing up, this was like the tournament, right? And to me, it's like everyone in my generation, everyone retired at the Diamonds. That was kind of the tournament that you retired at, and it was like year after year. It was like Tony Young in one year, then Pedro Xavier, then Jotty won that year. Then you have John Valera. Then you have, everybody's just retiring, at that tournament or doing their last big performance. So to me, it's like that for me, as well. It's just like, hey, if there's any tournament, I would probably say, like for me, as far as if I ever say truly retire from the sport, it would be this.
We're going to do it at a tournament.
Yeah, at a tournament, it would be Diamonds or probably like Battle of Atlanta because of it being like my first real big NASCAR tournament that I did, right? For you. So
I also feel like at the Diamonds, it's either a lot of times I feel that, for the people who don't go to necessarily every event, after, everybody almost hits US Open, or at least at one point in time, most people hit US Open. And then sometimes there's that break between US Open and people don't really show out again until Diamonds. So I felt like Diamonds was always that event that people threw, especially in the Forms division, people always kind of had new stuff. And so you almost never really knew what was happening because it was either at Diamonds or at AKA. But I feel like more so at Diamonds. I remember for me, that was always, especially in the youth divisions, that was always the tournament that I showcased a new form if I had one. Or new changes, new music. It was always there just to kind of spice things up. So I feel like everybody always brings their A game to Diamonds. And then for me as well, after when I was on Infinity, we'd always have big powwows, potlucks and stuff at the
it's big for them.
So that was always something I really, really look forward to because the whole squad would always be there, considering it's a drive for them. So that was definitely highlights of my 17 and under Diamond Nationals.
It was
and
interesting,
the other
Haley,
thing,
you mentioned that you said that people come out with new stuff or they really kind of throw it all out there at the end for the Diamonds. I remember because Jeff, mentioned I'm from there. I always revered this as there's the Diamonds and then everything else.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm like, am I the only one who thinks that? Am I just that? Am I pedestalizing this thing? And a few years into me really being a level of competitor, and I overheard this conversation where Matt Emig was talking to I think it was Daniel Sterling and maybe Steve Torada, and he's like, dude, you gotta, it's the Diamonds, throw it out there. And I'm like, all right, so it's not just me. I'm not the only one who thinks this. This is everybody feels this way. This is really cool.
It's almost like you started at AKA and you kind of had something new, and then it's okay. Every tournament you fix something or you change something. It's okay. So we're working towards this grand finale of a form, and then Diamonds is where you run that, and then back to the drawing board for the next year. So it's I feel you always got everybody's best at Diamonds, whereas maybe
I think you're right.
Yeah, I mean, you're not drained. You're not, sometimes that U.S. Open Battle of Atlanta time, it's rough, right? And so you're like, "Ooh, give me a break. Give me a little bit." This year, I think we're still in that phase of because we just had Cowboy up 2 weeks ago. A little big gap between, AmeriKick and stuff. Some people didn't go there, but you had DC. I mean, there's just a lot of tournaments right now, right? But I think that for me growing up, there was a lot of teams that debuted at Diamonds to say, hey, we're going to debut at the end of the year to get prepared for the next year. So Team Elite, Team CJB that I was on, we debuted at the Diamonds in 96.
Yeah.
And then, start our first real year was 97. A lot of teams did that, there was, the 96 Diamonds had like 4 brand new teams that debuted. And so it was wild, right? We had 3 men's fighting teams on our debut event. It was wild. But then
That
you
was
also
one of the bigger years as
That
far as
was.
attendance goes that
Yeah.
tournament has had.
Exactly. So it's one of those things. Also, the first tournament that actually did team forms was the Diamonds. That was the first event that did team forms, and it wasn't actually even and it wasn't really even like it wasn't a NASCAR division until way later, right? And so that was always a cool thing. And then of course Demo, I feel like debuted there as well in some way, right? So and as we see that, people want to do demo at Diamonds.
When we had John Worley on the show a couple years back, he talked about that, and he talked about like how the West Coast demo team really just did a demo and then completely changed the way that they did the tournament. But remember what he called the tournament? Haley, Alex, you guys are never gonna guess what the name of the Diamond Nationals was the first year they had it. It was called the Everything You Wanted to Know About Karate, but were too afraid to ask somebody.
Yeah.
I didn't say it. I didn't make it up.
Yeah.
That's what
That
he
was
said.
it.
He was like, well, we don't know what to call this thing. Let's call it this.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's
But that was
crazy.
it. And it stuck because they gave out a diamond. And in the 70s, and you're giving out a diamond, that's like handing someone $1 million.
Yeah.
So-
Back yeah.
Back then.
Oh man. So do you guys have anything exciting, or well, you don't have to give all your secrets, but we got, of course, you guys got big goals for this weekend. Haley, of course, you have some records to start breaking and start creating. So and Alex, you too, like what we just said. So are you guys feeling good and refreshed for this weekend?
Yeah. Honestly, for me, like I'm feeling, especially after going to Cowboy Up, it was a good confidence boost for me. Since I feel like this entire year, so much, and both of our lives, I think I can speak for both of us, has changed, and so much is unpredictable. Like it's a blessing to be doing everything we're doing, but I haven't had a good schedule at this point about a year. So it's been tough to really find the time to train and squeeze it in between everything that we're doing because we're out of state so much, or teaching all these lessons. And because we've been out of state, I got to like catch up on my lessons and all my students. And then the battle of like when kids were in summer camp, like we couldn't go to the schools at that time because they're being used. And so really finding the time to train. And then also Atlanta's huge, which also brings so much traffic. So accommodating for all the unknowns has been hard, but going to Cowboy Up, I felt like I nailed my forms. I had made a couple of little adjustments, and now coming into Diamonds, I have a good idea of where I'm at. And I feel really excited because I think in comparison to the last few events, I feel more prepared for this one. So I look forward to kind of going in there and doing that, and ideally tying the record for the most diamond rings in the adult division, and then hopefully next year breaking that. That's kind of like a major goal for me. I've got 5 right now. If I win all of mine, I'll have 8 this year, and then hopefully 12. No.
Well, I mean, you're in the driver's seat for that.
Oh, make
I
it
mean,
12.
for the other ones, their cement is dry. They can't add anymore. I mean, I suppose
Yeah.
they could.
They
They
could.
could, but they can't.
That would
Right?
be so. I'm really excited, and I also too. Since when did I showcase my switchblades? US Open.
Mhm.
Yeah, I brought back switchblades, which have been really fun. So I've been using those a
I
lot.
did notice that. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. I have not seen those in quite a while.
It's been a while. It's because I actually earlier this year during like battle time started working with Rudy Raynon again. So we kind of did a couple lessons, and he helped kind of open my eyes to a different way of choreographing, which had my wheels turning. And I'm like, what would be so cool? Have switchblades again. I started off my very first pair of commas, like performance commas. I had like the Metal Century ones, but like my first performance commas were Switchblades. And so I was like, how dope would it be to just kind of bring it back a little bit and then create something new with them and kind of use that as my inspiration. So I remember going up to Mr. Greenhall's booth at Battle, and I was like, hey, do you have any Switchblades on you? He goes, dude, I haven't made those and brought them in so long because nobody's interested in them. And I was like,
That made you want them even more.
Exactly. I was like, can you please make me a pair? And he's like, are you going to use them? Like, are you going to actually use the Switchblades? And I was like, yeah, that's the whole idea. Like, that's why I want it. So came up with some cool stuff for US Open. And I feel like I've just been building on it every event. So it's been really fun creating in a new way that's a little bit more old school and then just different from what we kind of have going on now.
That's cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I guess to add on in the beginning of what she was saying, I definitely feel good going into Diamonds this week. You know, had a couple of new camps. We actually had the opportunity to go to Guatemala about a month now, right? No, month?
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
3 weeks ago. It was my first time going to Guatemala, and it was fun. I had the opportunity to compete, throw down on some commas with Esteban. Also, Esteban was there, so we competed. Haley competed, and then I also fought, and it was my first time fighting in Guatemala. And I was like, I have to fight. You know, my family, my uncle used to fight back then in Guatemala and Mexico City. So I've heard all those stories. I'm like, man, I'm a fighter. I got to. So I trained for it, and I was happy to walk away with the win in the heavyweights and the open weight. And then the week after was Cowboy Up. So we had that, you know, short turnaround, but
man, you don't stop.
Yeah, short turnaround. I took the momentum in the Cowboy Up, was able to win the heavyweight and also win teams. Felt really good in open weight as well. So just carrying the momentum into this week, making sure we rest as well. It's a very big thing, but just happy to be able to go out to Diamonds again. It's one of my favorites, and hopefully collect some rings.
So the Guatemalan fighters, they're good. They're talented, but it's a different kind of culture. What was that like when you fought there?
Initially, when I went there and I was like in the ring, I was kind of pacing as I normally do. And Haley was sitting in my coach's chair, and I was like, I'm fighting Guatemala. This is awesome. Like I was just there. And honestly, it was great because Enrique was there as well. Enrique Latona. So he was there. We had a great time. And initially I was, like I said, I was super nervous, but you know, I just went out there and I said, hey, stay calm, enjoy the moment, enjoy the journey, and just take it one match at a time. And doing just that, it helped me out a lot. It was fine. There wasn't like crazy stuff that went down or anything. You know, it was a really nice event hosted by Luis Celis. It was his first tournament also. Yeah. And I think the production setup,
it was dope.
It was really cool. Like NASCAR level.
A lot of great things about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like they had like a huge like movie like a movie theater size like board, like LED board.
light.
And it was super cool, super professional. Yeah, we had a great time.
I think it was cool too. Because at least for so I've been to Guatemala before, so it was a little different for me going a second time. But I think going with him on his first time, it was like it was kind of cool just seeing him be so excited to just like have the opportunity and see how much of a blessing it was to like fight in another country. Like he was just so excited. He's like, dude, I get to fight in Guatemala. Like this is crazy. Like I never pictured it. But like everybody was super respectful. Everything ran super smoothly as well. It was good fights, you know. But I feel that sometimes people like talk about international fighting and it seems like so aggressive. I mean, it wasn't like that here. It's just clean fighting. I've been to like Mexico City, and like I feel like things get a little crazy sometimes.
Yeah, I was about to say, I feel like it depends where you fight in the league and the teams that show up, and you know, it's like, or if you fighted before and maybe you lose by one, and then you're like, all right, I'm gonna get you back, and you know you see this person, it's like, all right, let's do this. You know, that's like the anticipated matchups that you might have where you know it can get pretty exciting. I'll say, it was a really great event. And I will say we were surrounded by a lot of volcanoes. It was great.
Oh my gosh.
We were surrounded by volcanoes. That was the theme of Guatemala.
Anytime anybody's like, yeah, how is Guatemala?
I'm
yeah,
like,
we were surrounded by volcanoes. I'm
volcanoes.
Like, oh my gosh.
I never know if they're awake, you know?
Well, it's interesting that you say that like about what the culture is, and whether it's aggressive or it's not, you kind of have a double target on your back
Yeah.
when you go fight internationally. Number one, you're Americans. Number two, you're Paul Mitchell.
Oh yeah.
Also,
So
too, like,
you got two targets on your back. You can't change.
Mhm.
yeah, and also like I feel like when an event will bring you out to teach a seminar, like that's even more. Like
Yep.
the fact that he was brought out to teach and now to go showcase. I feel like it creates that bigger target, which I know can
Mhm.
create a lot of pressure. But everything was good. It was all fun. It was
fun.
it was really fun.
I think one of my favorite parts about that weekend in Guatemala was we all got to teach seminars and lessons,
Mhm.
and I had the opportunity to teach like my first seminar all in Spanish, and that was because I'm Hispanic and Mexican in me, so I was every time somebody asks me and I'm with her, they ask me, "Hey, can you speak Spanish?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, so." I don't like to say I speak Spanish because then I'm just scared. I'm nervous that I
Yeah.
get one person that speaks super fast. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I'd just rather be like, I'm all
He
right.
like sets the expectation super low.
Exactly.
And then everybody comes to me and they're like, he speaks so good. And I was like, I know he lied to you guys. When he told you that he barely spoke Spanish, that was a lie.
So I can speak.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean I remember my first time going to Mexico and teaching a seminar and just being like stressed because I didn't speak Spanish and be like, oh man, all right, how is I figured it out. We speak martial arts, so it works, right? It works
Yeah,
out.
we had him on last week, but I remember having a conversation with Marcel about that he did like a seminar in Paris. And I'm like, that would be rough. And I think he said he had to have a translator.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That would be so hard, right?
We had one.
We had
had
one.
one.
I think it's tough. We just like I noticed that
You have no idea what they're saying.
you're right. That's number one. So there's that. But also like I feel like knowing the right amount to speak before allowing the translator to speak.
Yes,
That's
yes.
because you're like, I don't want to say one word at a time because then it's weird. But then you go off on tangents as an instructor and you just like start talking and you're like, wait, now this guy's got to translate everything I just said. So
I know.
Yeah. See, I didn't have that when they were jerks, man. Like Jeff, figure it out. You'll be fine. You'll be good. Oh man, that's funny. But all right. So we talked about what you guys been doing, getting ready for Diamonds, all that good stuff. What? All right, and we've talked a little bit about you guys teaching and traveling and everything. Let's share just some big moments that have happened over the past 2 years. If people don't know, right? All the life changes, all the things are where you guys currently are living.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely been an exciting 2 years. Within those 2 years, we got engaged almost 2 years now, a year and a half ago. Wedding coming up in March, so that's a big thing.
Weddings in March. Where's it going to be? Florida, Texas,
Orlando.
Yeah, Orlando.
But we're doing another party back in Texas as well, so it'll be good. You wanna take this one?
So in terms of just like us individually, I graduated college in May of 2024, and then right after I did that, almost like right after US Open, after we got engaged, I did my second contract with Royal Caribbean for 3 months out at sea again. That was so much fun, even better than the first time. And so I had a great time doing that, performing for about 7,000 guests a week for 3 months straight. So that's a lot of faces, a lot of new people, kind of seeing what I do. And, I think the best thing about that was just a new appreciation every day for what I do. I think the longer we stick with our sport, we're kind of expected to do what we do in a way. So like when we see it, we're not as impressed. It's like, yeah, okay, that's normal. It's what us martial artists do. But when people see it for the first time, it's always nice to like have that appreciation and have people kind of be in awe like of what I'm doing, and makes me feel better about what I've been training for the past 16, 17
That
years.
you do in a different environment,
Right.
Yeah.
So that was super cool. Came back, there was the holidays, and then we both went for long distance and met up
That was a big
in
one.
Atlanta in
Atlanta,
January.
with Georgians.
So we both moved out here. Didn't have like an exact game plan, which for me was a little stressful. Of like I need to have everything sorted. It's like I got to do this, and as soon as I do this, and like. But we kind of came in on a leap of faith. Didn't really expect it, but learned how to really make what we do not a business, but extend our outreach in a way. And like,
No, you said it right. It's a business.
yeah, like, and I feel like sometimes we say that and people take it the wrong way, like, oh, you're just trying to use what you do to get money, and it wasn't about that. Like we learned how to do outreach in a way that allowed us to teach for hundreds and at this point thousands of kids almost every weekend, and we've got to travel to some really great places to do that. So it's been a blessing being able to not only do that and teach in front of so many new faces, teach kids that maybe never thought they'd get the opportunity to meet us in person or see us perform, and then also at the same time like allow that to provide for us financially. Like that's a blessing to be able to do. I feel like not a lot of people can say that they make a living off of doing what they love.
Right.
That's one thing we're blessed to do, and we've learned how to do it a little bit better. So between tournaments and going to teach, and then also doing instructor trainings and being able to help kind of bridge that gap between like the elite competitors and like the instructors that don't really compete, but they want to build their students to be the best that they can be. Like we've been able to kind of help do that. And so that's been so much fun. And then expanding our student base online. And we started not only teaching lessons, but also creating like training plans and programs and kind of giving people a glimpse of how we train and what's been good for us and what has worked.
That's huge.
Like what hasn't. So that's been really fun.
I think
it's been good.
To add to that, I think with teaching this year, we've been able to teach the most seminars we've taught between ourselves individually and together just this year alone, which has been a blessing for sure. Just like she graduated last year, I graduated college this year. And then just trying to hustle together. That's, we came to Atlanta to hustle, and we did try to hustle as well, or we are in the stunt industry, and we've had the opportunity to work on a couple of projects and practice, fights and stuff like that. There's one that came out recently. It's called Penance, and it's in a lot of film festivals right now. I don't know if you've seen it on our social media, but she gets it was like her first acting role, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Yes, that's huge. Be the actual face. Have your face be the one, not just the stunts for someone else's face.
No, it was interesting too because so this was like one of our close friends like directed this entire feature film, and it's out in like the film festivals right now in multiple, and so that's been really cool. And I remember when they messaged me to be a part of it, they didn't really tell me what I was doing. So like
you're available for
like
these days.
You're available, and I was like, I'm not, but I'm gonna make myself available. So I like rearranged so much to make it happen. And I came in and like, yeah, so here's a script. And I'm like, script for me? What? But it wasn't anything like super huge, but it was definitely it put me out of my comfort zone, like kind of portraying somebody that's totally not me in an environment. Like, to be very transparent, I was at a strip club. Acting as if I was drugged up. Just to give a little insight, obviously you guys know that's not who Haley is. But having to go and challenge myself to kind of figure it out and be like, I can't just go in here and not do well. Like I gotta pull it together and show
because you're so used to you're being performers. You guys, you're performers.
Exactly.
And to kind of piggyback off of something you said earlier, like not everybody gets to do something that they love all the time. Well, there are a lot of people who find things that they do that they love and they make a career out of it. But there is not a lot of people who create a career off of martial arts performance.
Yeah.
Just performance. A lot of it is instruction, right?
Yes.
And you're doing both. Both of you guys are doing both.
Right. That's exactly what I try to like tell people a lot too, because I feel like it's either people like will go to college and do something else, or it's like, oh, you can run a school too. And that's kind of, I feel like
they push that, right?
Yeah.
I was giggling to myself when you were talking to Haley, when you were saying that, like, yeah, they had me come out. I didn't know the script. And in my head, I'm like, wait a minute. So they had this young woman, come, we're going to put you on camera and we're not going to tell you what you're going to do. In my head, I'm like, sounds like you're going to end up in a strip club. Irony. It's exactly what you did.
No, it was cool. It was with, people that I've actually known for years. And I did it, and like it went really well. And it was a very heavy scene. Like in the film too, they told me, they're like, this completely changes the plot. So like this is one of the most important scenes to understand kind of everything that's happening. And I was like, wow, guys, thanks. That's a lot of pressure, but I'm gonna do my best. And I kind of came out there and I did it, and everybody's like, dude, you're killing it. And I had the like one of the co-stars tell me, like, your acting helped me perform better. And I was like, wow, like that's cool to hear that. It was really fun.
Yeah, she absolutely. I still haven't seen the scene itself, but I've seen part of the trailer that comes out for the film, and it's really, really nice. And we've had an opportunity, like I said, to do a couple more projects. But we're just out here trying to make it happen. Out here living our dream together so far, and just trying to see where we can go. You want to say your other project? She's been killing it. I'm over here trying my best, and I'm trying to be as cool as Haley, but it's a little tough. She had one more, and I'll let you share that.
Yeah. There is a season 2 that came out recently called Beauty in Black by Tyler Perry that came out on Netflix. So I had the opportunity to be a part of that and do stunts for that. So that was really fun. It was cool too, because we had binge watched the first season 2 weeks before I got the opportunity. And I didn't know what the show was until I got the call sheet. And I see I see Beauty in Black. Beauty in Black? Right. Yeah. So I see no, I'm trying to think of
it sounded like you're about to spell something else.
And I didn't really I guess read under it. And so I'm just looking at the call sheet, whatever. And then I look at it again, and I was like, and I said it to Alex, I was like, you'll never believe what the show is. And then we were talking about it. It was pretty cool. But yeah, it was a fun day project on that.
So to be getting opportunities for these projects, you have to have at least 1 or 2 talent agencies that you're a part of, right?
No, not necessarily. Really. It just depends on I guess where you're going. We're very, very new to this as well, so we're still learning.
Yeah.
But I feel like an agent is your choice. And
it's also so stunts. It's different, and stunt acting,
independent hustle
is it's kind of like who how you market yourself,
100%.
What you do yourself in. But for acting, that's when the agents really come in, and normally you're part of an agency. So for us, we haven't really explored that because stunts is the route we're trying to go for now. But I think moving into the future, if that's the route we decide to go, we definitely look into having an agent because it makes everything a lot easier. But yeah,
do that.
Yeah.
Definitely. Wow, man. I love it. All right. So got all kinds of awesome opportunities happen. Got the wedding coming in March. And all the teaching and stuff. So because this is one of the things that people ask a lot of us, right? That do this full time, or even that just, like Alex Dingman, after he is done with this, he will still be up working for because he's got 2 or 3 businesses, right? Okay. So
he'll be up to 2 a.m.
He'll be up to 2 a.m. How do you guys, let's share about that. How you guys continue the training and the focus for the tournaments while you're trying to push forward your professional life as well, right?
That's freaking hard.
Yeah, no, it definitely is a challenge for sure. But I think the number one thing we can both tell ourselves is discipline. As martial artists, you learn to be disciplined. And as you're going through, whether it's through your belts and you're learning your forms, your techniques, and to compete, you got to be disciplined to go up there and run your form, to not drop, to, take a fight one fight at a time. So for us, I think we're just blessed to have the opportunity to learn that discipline in martial arts. And that has helped us out with time management because just like you're mentioning, people have asked me how do you do it? When we were in school, it's we were full-time college students. We're traveling, teaching, still got students at the time when I was in Texas at my mom's school, and then doing online private lessons at tournaments. And then I was working at Orange Theory at the time as well. So it's, it is very hard, but it's about time management, having the discipline. We'll get up early. We'll tell each other today, we already planned out our week, for example, right? So we'll tell ourselves we'll wake up early, train early, teach lessons midday, train later, or whatever the day might be. It might be teach lessons in the morning, train midday, train at night, whatever. And we just communicate that to each other and hold each other accountable to that.
Yeah.
And also we share a Google Calendar because it's also good to see.
Yes.
We
That's
share.
huge. Oh man.
Yeah. I think the best thing for me is the accountability of living with this guy. He doesn't stop. I need my 8 hours plus a night of sleep, and it's hard for me to function when I'm not. This man can sleep 2 hours and still be fine. But
Yeah,
I think
it's crazy.
on the days that like
You got
feel
a few
really
years till that changes, Alex. You got a few years till that changes.
I will say this: people have told me that, like, when I started working at Orange Theory, I would open in the gyms, have to be there at 4:30, and I'd be done by 9:10 in the morning. But I had a coworker at the time. She told me, "Hey, do you drink coffee? Because I don't drink coffee. I don't like it, and I don't drink coffee or anything." And she's like, "Well, you're gonna need that when you go to college." I still haven't needed it just yet. And then she gets mad at me.
Don't start.
I'll get an energy drink. I don't like. It's not my preference,
so dumb.
but sometimes I'll buy a Celsius just.
You're buying a
And then I'm
Celsius.
like, I'll open it and after my first class coaching, and at 6 a.m. I'm like, yeah, I don't need it. I'm already up. So like I'll buy when I don't drink it, So it's interesting.
Not for me. If I don't have my espresso in the morning
Wow.
and then cold brew midday, it's not a good day. But like even on those days where I'm like, bro, I don't want to do anything today. Like I just want to get what I have to get done and then not do a single thing. Like seeing his drive has helped me continue to maintain mine. Because I think I've been in NASCAR like very consistently a little bit more than he has. So, after 14, 15 years, I'm kind of like, okay, it's the same thing. Like I'm not doing anything different. But it's been motivating for me to kind of train with him and see him getting up early, being like, all right, now I got to do the same thing.
Come on, let's go. We got some championships
I'm
to
preaching
win.
all this
Let's
to my
go.
students, and I'm like, I got to make sure I'm holding up my end of the bargain. And also, like, I can't stand showing up anywhere unprepared. Like, I don't care even if it's like if it's just me, if it's me and one other person. I don't care if I feel confident enough to, successfully have an event without really needing to train. Like I can't do that. If I feel any less than my best, I'm so upset at myself. So I'm like, Haley, in order for you to feel confident, feel good going into this event, and feel good after it, no matter the outcome,
For sure.
you got to put in the work now. Just so it's like it's a me against me kind of thing. I don't really train for anybody else. Like it's just I'm like, okay, Haley, be a little bit better than you were last event, and if we can do that, then I think it's a success.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's it can be quite difficult at times.
It's
But
tough.
I will say a lot of my like drive or the way that I can be up all night, sleep, like she said, sleep 3 hours and then wake up at 4 to go coach, go work out, do whatever. But it's definitely come from my upbringing. My mom, she'll get up at 3 a.m. every day. She would. And she has dogs and cats. So she has to take care of all that, go to work and just seeing her drive, I think definitely inspired me. And I always told her I've gotten my strength from you a lot because I've seen her and her drive all the time. And it's funny because when we first moved here, we bought a vacuum, and she was like, "Why are you vacuuming so early?" It's because my mom. That's how she'd
5 a.m.
That's how she'd wake
and
me
he's
up sometimes.
vacuuming.
My mom would be vacuuming, and I'm like, "All right, now it's time to get up." Now she goes to work, I go to the gym, right? And then one thing she's always told me, and this is a bit of, I guess that old school mentality, she's like, if whenever you're asleep, your opponent's training. So if you're asleep at 3 a.m., she's like, I used to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and train. Why are you asleep? So she would tell me that at like 8 years old. And I'm like, okay, like, so I would, like, for diamonds, the year that I won 21-22 for weapons, for example, I would stay up until I would mix my music or choreograph it at like between 12 and 2 in the morning, and then kind of run through it and then wake up at like 6 or 7 to train. It's like, that's just how I was brought up. So I think that has transitioned for sure.
That's wild. That's so wild to think. I was actually going to ask you this, but like saying that like you can't just train at any time because of what your body needs to physically do. But I think, Alex, you might be bionic, right? I don't know if you're a normal human, right? Because Like,
Nah.
all right, how about this? Right? You're going to drill and you're going to do drills and you're going to do a bunch of rounds in fighting.
Yeah.
What order are you going to do those?
Oh, it depends. It depends when I'm working that day. So, like, for example, I might like one day I wake up at 6 and I had a buddy back in Texas. We train. I called him because he wanted, for example, it was like Diamonds time. I was like, hey, be here at 5:45. We're training at 6. And we would finish practice at 10, 11 o'clock. Right. So by the time you go home, eat, shower, if you had homework, do homework and then do that. It was really late. But it's just that's how bad I wanted to win. How bad I wanted to just get better. So yeah, we'd get up at 6. We'd be there, start training at 6. Sometimes we do drills, we fight, and then do conditioning, or start with conditioning first, do rounds and drills. It just depends. So one thing, like my mom has told me, she said, you got to train at all hours of the day because you're not always going to fight at the same time at every tournament, And there was I trained
good advice.
My buddies. I don't know if y'all follow him on social media, but his name's Isaac Moreno, Primetime Moreno. He's a UFC prospect. Right now. He has a fight coming up soon, so good luck to him. But I remember we one time at like, I don't know, 10:30, we finished at close to midnight. And then the week after, I had a tournament, and I fought at 10:45 for grands. And I was like, whoa, look at that. Yeah. That was just great. So
I think it's
different. Right. You stomped all over what I was going to say. I think you are. I think you are bionic. I don't think you're normal.
It's different too. Like, I guess we both grew up in the sport a bit different. Mm-hmm. He had access to a school 24/7. I didn't.
Yeah.
Makes a
so
big.
You were like Jeff.
Where I'm like, right. I have school. My mom doesn't get out until 6. I don't get to the karate school until 8 on an early day, and I'm there until 12. But that's the only way I could do it. So for him, he's like, "Oh, we got to train early," and I'm like, I'm not used to that because I trained for 4 hours a day. Yeah. But it was so late every day. So I was used to that because that's, I would maybe take my curriculum class at the time and then I'd wait till everybody was done, which is like 9:30. And then it was like, okay, now it's Haley time. I can go and train, do what I got to do, blast my music the way I want to. But like, I didn't have access to a school like that. So learning how to train early was a little bit weird for me because I'm so used to like training so late. And that's one thing I tell him, like for me to train early, there's a couple of things I got to do to feel like it was a productive training. Because if I'm not awake enough, I feel like my training is losing its quality. Like, yeah, I'm doing it, but the quality of the training is not as good as it is when I'm training at night because
it works the same the other way. Like if you're dead and you got no energy left and you're out here with half an eye open because you're tired for the day, and you're training, you're running through sections just for the sake of it.
I was also the kind of person, which I've done better now, to take pre-workout at like 10:30. So,
oh my God.
Yeah. That's what happened. Or like there were times in college where, again, I didn't have access to a school 24/7 because I had classes and it wasn't my school. So I'd go at like 10 p.m. and I would have my day in college. I would study. I would take a nap from like 6 to 8, get up, eat, and then feel like awake enough to kind of go train until like 1 a.m. and then go home, wake up the next day and do it again. So it's just like, it's interesting us learning how to combine our like different training schedules together just because it was kind of almost like completely on the other sides of the spectrum.
The opposite. Yeah. Yeah. See, for me,
I think more people,
I didn't have a place to train.
Recognize with yours. Jeff, did you probably train a lot like the way Haley was doing it with her schedule?
but again, like I said, I didn't. For 10 years, I went without a martial arts school. I mean, there would be some times where someone would let me come train or teach some lessons at their school here or there. But most of the time, I would train outside of my house, or I created a little room in my house to do that. And then when I was at college, I trained in the racquetball courts. And I trained in the basement of a church that I went to on Wednesday nights, things like that, right? Or I would just train in my dorm room. I found a way, like I literally, the basement of my dorm room, right? And I went down there, and it would be like I'm doing martial arts stuff, and then someone would come down to like use the kitchen, and then I'd stop because it was a little awkward. Like
it's weird, yeah.
It's like
that's how it was. You kind of just had to figure it out, make it happen. Like I I'd bounced from so many different places. I even made a fake club for the University of Florida to kind
Yes,
of like.
you heard about that. You don't remember that? Andrea was telling us about that.
Yeah, yes, me, Andrea, and a friend from my car school. And he was.
Oh, this is the same club.
Yes, this is the same club. We had to. I told her, I was like, the only way they're gonna let us do it is if we pretend that we're like a club. And they already had like a taekwondo club and a kickboxing club. And I'm like, let's just say we're a stunt club, stunt for film, and that we need the space from this time to this time. And I think like to be a club, you had to at least have 3 people. So we had a friend, and it was me and Andrea, and we're like, okay, what time should we agree on? Because we also both had different schedules. So we're like, let's kind of figure out what we need to do to make it happen. And so we like wrote it up, did the request to make it an official club at UF, would kind of go and pretend. And like there was one time where they saw me with my sword because it was like the matted area has windows. And they're like, yeah, you can't use that. So I was like, crap, dude. I got to figure it out. I had to trade my sword somewhere else. But yeah, had to do what we had to do to make it work. It's
Yeah,
fun.
well, I went to college about 15 minutes away from Virginia Tech, a college called Radford. And so we got to be friends with everyone that was in the Taekwondo club at Virginia Tech. And so once a month, they would let the Taekwondo club go and train in their gymnastics floor. But the main rule was you can't kick because kicking is dangerous. And so I'm sitting there, well, obviously as me who does not like, I can flip, but there's no reason for me to flip. I'm not going to do it in my form. So it's like, what is the point? So I literally just did 720 spins and butterfly twists with no kicks for 2 hours. And it was just like, this sucks. And I tried to sneak one in. As soon as I snuck one in, hey, easy with those kicks, man. I'm like, what the heck? I'm not even hitting anybody. Like, what is going on? What is your problem? So it was really funny.
Gosh.
Yeah. So yeah. So you find a lot of funny things when you train while and continue competing while in college, right? You gotta find ways to do it. So those are some of my fond memories too of like, man, how did I do this? How do we continue to do this?
Exactly.
Right?
It's like unlocking memories. Like I remember like training in the stadium. I have this video that I went on the UF football field. We're not allowed to do that, but I went to trick a little bit just to kind of get it that day after a run at the stadium.
I had a chance to go do that with you. Well, not trick on the field, but we got to do like a stadium workout in the swamp. That was cool.
Oh, that is cool. That is cool.
That's pretty awesome.
I love that there, sir. Mr. Osborne. Excited to see you competing there. That's awesome.
I think your mom commented for us to say hi. Oh, she says hi. Hi,
Yes.
Emma. Say hi.
Yes.
Emma.
A while ago.
Oh, that was a while ago.
You smile, but you didn't say hey, so
I did it.
Emma needs that response.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. So we've talked diamonds, we've talked Cowboy Up, we've talked life and everything. Let's share. All right, one person that when you were growing up that inspired you in martial art, like a martial artist that inspired you. And then now, and you can't be each other because we already shared you guys inspire each other. All right. So, and now as where you are, who currently is inspiring you as far as a martial artist?
Ooh.
So as a child and then current.
So
You can go first because I gotta think.
Oh, you want me to go first on this one? Well, I feel like my martial arts inspiration, role model, mentor growing up is easy for me. My mom was my instructor, but I think what's really nice is she definitely created that line or knew how to separate mom and an instructor. And it's so funny because nowadays I'll call her sensei more than I do mom. I'll be like, sensei, and she'll turn, but it's just like a thing that as I got older, it just became a thing,
Yeah.
But yeah, my mom was a huge inspiration for me growing up in martial arts. And I grew up training all 3 because of her and her instructor as well. I've said this story many times at seminars, and I'll say this story quickly here. At first I grew up a fighter. I'm a fighter at heart, but my mom's instructor saw me. I was complaining because I got second place at a state tournament in Texas, and I still had to go do grands for forms. I didn't want to go do grands because I lost in fighting, I was so mad. So I'm walking away from her, and her instructor is there waiting, like in a chair. He's a taller black man, but he's sitting on a chair. So I'm short. He's taller than I am. Got like nice fedora on, and with his cane, and he just pulls me aside, and I'm like crying. I immediately stop. I'm like, and he goes, "Boy, why are you crying?" And I just didn't know what to say. And then my mom goes, "Tell him." And she just left me with him because that's how she was. She's great. And I told him, I said, "I don't want to do forms." And he's like, "Boy, are you 18? Do you pay the bills? You put a roof over your head?" He's like, and I said, "No." And I was like, still choking up, like crying, but not crying because I was scared. And and I said, "No." And he said, "Then when you're 18 and you pay the bills, you make your own choices. But from here on out, you're going to do forms, weapons, and fighting." And then my mom did that also. My uncles did that. So my whole family did it. So it was easy, I guess, easier for me to follow that path. But now it's tougher. I don't think there can be one person. It's definitely been more than one person growing up. I guess not just phases of my career, but throughout my career. I had at first had Chance. Chance was like my big brother when I got on Gypsy. Vito. Willie Hicks, Justin Ortiz, Ross Levine. Started mentoring when I was very young. Damon Gilbert. So I'm not gonna pick one person now. It's a huge line and lineage. And then for weapons, Tyler Weaver. There's a female that started me in weapons. Her name's Clarissa de Hoyos now, but she doesn't want to take the credit. But she laid the foundation for my comma work. And
That's pretty cool.
Tyler's the one that kind of helped me find helped me grow. And Jackson Rudolph was the one that convinced me to do weapons in NASCA. Oh, Hakeem, come on now. Hakeem, my fighting lineage as well. So there's so many people. I can go on and on. I think it's your
How
turn.
did Jackson convince you to do? I mean, Jackson's a pretty convincing guy.
Yes.
But what was that conversation like?
So I was taking private lessons with him doing the bow staff, and I competed with bow staff for a little bit. And by a little bit, I mean like 2, maybe 3 tournaments. And I was like, yeah, no. Because I started with commas at 6 years old. That was my thing. Just try to venture out. Tried the size 2. Didn't work out. But I was competing in Texas, in the Texas leagues, doing forms, weapons, and fighting. But in NASCA, I was just doing fighting because that's what I wanted to focus on.
Right.
And Jackson, I started working with him. He said, "Why don't you do it in NASCA?" And I said, "Well, I wanted to focus on my fighting and slowly add divisions, as I go on. And I wanted to solidify my form. And I just thought that I wasn't going to be able to compete yet with my form, right?" And Jackson says, "No, like you can do it. Like you need to do it in NASCA." And sure enough,
Wow.
I ended up doing it. So there's a lot of people. I wouldn't say just one. There's a long lineage of fighting for sure.
That's a lot of people.
I could keep talking, so you better. You gotta.
There was definitely a couple people for me that kind of helped. There was inspirations, and then there was people who had like direct impact on my career. And I think there's a difference between the two.
Yes,
Sure.
So like inspiration wise, there was one competitor, Michaela Johnson, on Change the Game. And I remember like starting out, I got to do a Change to the Game like training camp in Miami because I like had saw Lauren Kearney at a local event, and she recorded me, put me on Tournament News Online, I think in like 2011, and she invited me to train with Michaela and at the time Kyle Montagna.
That was a time.
I remember Michaela. Just I don't know. She did the comments like me, and I just thought like all of her work was amazing, and she was almost like the underdog at that time because most of the time Michelle would take the teams, but Michaela came out and always put on a really good show, and I think getting to train with her was like really awesome. We never like did lessons or anything. I never like learned from her, but kind of seeing how she trained and then getting to watch her compete a lot was really awesome for me. And then also Mark as well. And then Mark had a little bit more of a direct impact on me because I got to train with him every now and again. Seeing Jackson, getting to present Jackson with his 13 and under 2011 ISKA trophy.
That's wild. That's wild.
Was like my first glimpse at the idea of like NASCA and Paul Mitchell and like sport karate in that way, right? Because the gap between the local people and NASCA people was quite large. So getting to see him, Danny Aitken, Jake Presley, like that kind of really opened my eyes, and it was very inspirational for me. Mackenzie Emery for sure, just because strong women doing combos I thought was super awesome. So they were all huge inspirations to me, and then Justin as well. When Justin Ortiz kind of came to teach at Florida Sports, he always told me I had to do everything, pushed me really hard, helped me like physically with the sport, and then also like intellectually, like just opened my mind to a lot of things, and is even still mentoring me now, which is really cool. Just in life, he would always say to me, especially on those moments where I was younger and like maybe I'd get kicked a little hard by one of the guys, and I would like start kind of crying a little bit. He could tell because we both do the same thing. We like our nostrils flare, so like he would know like when I'm about to cry because he'd see my nostrils start flaring because the same thing happens to him when he gets mad. So he'd be like, ah, and he'd tell me, he goes, Haley, you have to be a beast, not a mouse. And I was like, yes, sir. Yes, sir, Mr. Justin. And even now, he's telling me the same thing, and he's kind of helping me in different ways. But that was always great, and I attribute like a lot of my work ethics to him because he was also in his prime years, like fighting for JPM at the same time he was my instructor. So like we'd be training at the same time, or I'd get to see like how hard he was putting in the work, and so it helped me kind of learn just those good habits. Now, I think more so seeing the drive of my students is helping inspire me.
Oh, that's huge.
I'm like, I'm seeing how hard I'm pushing you. I'm like, the workouts that I'm giving you are not easy.
Definitely
and you're
not.
handling it like a champ. And you're working with me. And then you're going to open gym. And then you're going to do this. I think, two, that really stick out to me. Everybody does. But these two specifically. My student, Jaden, who used to be on Revolution, he just soared. And then Amanda. I say both. Jaden, he's just had a lot of things happen to him that are out of his control. And like that would, in theory, tear any other kid down to want to quit the sport. Like just stuff that I know that he's gone through. And I'm like, all these things have happened to you. None of them are your fault. And you're still doing it. Like you're still training. You're training in your house every day. Like we're doing lessons and you're like having to put back the little puzzle mats together because they're kind of coming apart on your tile. Like you're tricking and telling me like, hey, give me a second because I just landed hard on my neon tile, and like you're still making it happen.
Ooh.
I'm like, it's to me that's inspirational because
Mhm.
I'm like, you're putting all this work in, and I've seen such growth in him, and it's all because of him. Like nobody else is doing it for him. And then same thing with Amanda. Like we'll train, and I'll give her this super hard workout, and then she's like, yeah, we're going to open gym later, and I also have a lesson with Dawson and my traditional coach. So like we've just got a lot going on, and I'm like, this is like 4 hours of work that you're doing. And she's like, yeah, like I got to learn from all like the best and seeing the work she's put in. And I've tried to coach her because I see a lot of me in her. And I'm like, Amanda, I'm not training you to be the best female right now. I'm like, I'm doing to you what Justin Ortiz did for me. He's like, Haley, I'm not training you to be the best female. I'm training you to be the best, period. Female, male, female, doesn't matter. He's like, I want you to be the best martial artist there ever was. And that's going to help drive me. And so that's what I'm trying to tell her. I'm like, yeah, you're winning in your divisions, and that's really awesome. I'm like, now we got to think a step ahead. We're not focused on that anymore. We're focused on, can I help you become the best well-rounded martial artist you can be? And so seeing all her hard work is really inspiring. And then one of my teammates, Enrique Latona, I think is the last one. And I don't think he realizes it either. And it's so bizarre because it's like
Shout out
Enrique of all like people. But just in terms of faith, I think he's inspired me a lot with just how important his faith is to him and to his sport, and how much he attributes all of his successes not to himself, but to God. It's really inspiring for me, and it's helping me to strengthen my faith and learn how to be a better martial artist and a better Christian all at the same time. And so he's been a great inspiration for me recently.
Awesome. I'm glad that you mentioned that because that was something I was going to bring up as well too. But yeah, Enrique is definitely someone that just like he doesn't hide it whatsoever, and he puts it right in his bed. He always puts it first, and I love that, man. I mean, when we had him on the show, that was the main thing, and that was what stood out to me so much. And I think everyone can see that in him. Just the true spirit, just the amazing Christian that he is. So I love that.
Yeah, I will say, I will add like onto, I guess, inspiration for me as well as just our teammates. Like we work so hard to, like, when we were younger. I was going to say when you were younger. When we were younger, when we were younger, we saw like Paul Mitchell at the U.S. Open and seeing them compete. It's just like, man, we want to be in that position one day. We want to be in the driver's seat. I want to be leading team fights. I want to be on stage. You want to be on stage. And to now look back on our careers or look where we are now, it's like we are those people, and we're surrounded by even more incredible people, like our coaches. And like we were saying, Enrique, you got Jackson, you got Cam, you got just the rest of our teammates, the Mitch men, I call them. You got Ben, Dawson, Esteban, and Philip. It's been amazing to be surrounded by them. And
we can't slack when
we can't. We got group chats and everything. Like, where's everybody working out at?
Wow.
Go.
That's huge. That's huge. I
want to
Go ahead.
piggyback off of what you guys are saying. We're talking about inspirations.
Mhm.
So this happened just this past week. Okay. So my kids, they're training. So it's so interesting you mentioned that you were training with Rudy. We were watching some Rudy Renan videos, right? And I'm like, look at the different choreography. Doesn't he do things that are just a little different? And he was like, wow, that's so cool. And then, Alex, we watched some of yours. We watched some of your videos. Then my daughter, Luis, is like, I want to see one with some girls. I want to see some girls. And I'm like, say less, right? So we watched Haley. We watched some of yours. But before we did it, I go, do you want to watch it with weapons or without weapons? And she's like, she does both. Let's watch both.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool. That was a really cool moment that we had. So we got to do that. And then I told him, I was like, here's what's cool. I'm going to have those guys on the podcast that Dad does, because all they know is that when it's time for bed, Dad does this show, right? And so I'm telling them, like, hey, I'm going to get a chance to talk to them. And their eyes just were like, you're going to what? Right? That was pretty cool. So thank you. You guys just made my kids' life.
See, hearing different stories like that to me is just crazy. Because like Alex was saying, being in the position of the people that we looked up to for so many years and we attribute to our, a lot of our success, it's like I get to hear every now and again little stories of like parents coming up to me saying, hey, my kid's really shy to say hi, but she watches you all the time and like this and that. Like, can you please take a picture with her? And I just sing like, the little girl, like, oh my God, like so excited. I mean, this is crazy. Like that's my hard work has made an impact in that way. And just to kind of be able to say that is such a blessing. I hope I continue to inspire with the way that I, perform, the way that I do the sport, and also the way that I live.
No, it didn't say that.
That's
It says
my
to inspire. It didn't say. It's usually the century motto.
Awesome. Well,
Jeff, I know we got a main topic that's coming up, but I had this.
Yeah, let's do that to finish up. But yeah,
I asked this question. This just popped in my head. It's for all of us, right? I was thinking about this like a week ago, and I was just thinking, like, we've acquired so many martial arts relics, things, like the tons of awards and things like that. Let's just say you're at home or your school, wherever you're at, fire breaks out.
Oh man.
You can save one martial arts thing. You can save one martial arts related thing. It doesn't matter what it is. You can only save one. What do you grab? Jeff, I kind of think I know what you're going to say.
So we're in this house.
Well, they were like anything you
No,
own. is
anything
in
we
this
own.
house.
Anything we own.
It has to be martial arts related. It can't be like
Martial
my
arts.
laptop.
One martial arts thing. Yeah.
One
Could be an award, could be
Yeah.
You guys go
What could
first.
it be?
You guys go first.
Well, Alex,
Go
what do you
first. I'm the one who asked the question.
Well, I know. Like, so what would you say?
what do you think mine is, Alex? Dean?
What do I think yours would be?
Yeah.
I think yours would be your belt.
Yes, it will be my gray belt that I have worn
Yeah.
since I was 12 years old, and I can still wear, and I'm proud of that. and yeah, that would be it. And that's why actually it's not even Yeah, it's not even here. It's in my Revolution gear bag because I keep it with me all the time in my car everywhere. I don't wear it at the school because too many kids ask questions of like, "Wait, I thought you were a black belt. Why are you wearing a white belt?" All that stuff. So yeah. But or the best one, the things online when people say, "Why does this guy bleach his belt?" Or or you're wearing your daddy's belt. Those kind of things. I love messing with those guys.
I think for me, it would be one of two things.
That's a tough
One
question.
of two things. Either my
Oh.
white belt, which is weird because you'd think I say my black belt. I think my white belt because I had no idea what I was getting into, no
Mm.
clue where it would take me, and it took that leap of faith when I was 5 years old. Did it just because it looked fun and they offered it, and it's like now look at where I am. Like that's my starting point. So I think either the white belt that I still have hanging up in my room at home, or my mom made this quilt of like a lot of
that's fire.
like
Yeah,
my
that's fire.
shirts and my uniforms of like when I first started. So it has like a lot of like it has like my original karate school like t-shirt on it, my mastering martial arts where I first started, and my instructor from them passed away a couple
Mm.
years ago. And so like I think just kind of having that as like memory and just having like my different teams, it has Infinity on it, it has Paul Mitchell on it, it has like tournaments that I went to when I was little. I used to get the t-shirts from it
Mhm.
still. My very first US Open shirts, like all of that, I think I would grab that too.
I would say my belt is one of the things I would grab as well. And then on my black belt, I don't know if you've seen it in pictures. I haven't worn it recently, but it's one that I've always worn in competition. This is the first year that I've changed it just because I kind of, for some reason, I just wanted to kind of keep that belt with me, just kind of here. I don't know. I just wanted it. But in the back, it has my uncle's, his last heartbeats. And then you see where he flatlines or he passes away. But my uncle, he always told me, he always said, be bold and be you, to kind of continue and go out and chasing my martial arts dreams. And he told my aunt, to tell me that as well. So that black belt, I wouldn't want nobody to like take that belt. So I'm just like keeping that with me. That's number one. I don't know. That second one is tough. Okay. Martial arts
Yeah, that's
related?
for one.
No,
Yeah,
but like,
it's gotta be martial arts related.
I'm
No,
gonna
but
say
like
Yeah,
Thomas, anything.
What?
too. That's right.
you said martial arts related, right? Anything?
Yeah.
I would bring my Cobra Kai uniform that I have.
Oh,
that's-
right.
That's,
I
yeah.
have the uniform from Cobra Kai,
That he
which Justin was able to. He gifted me as a gift.
He won the bid. He won the bid.
Yeah. There was.
Cool.
We found out our uniforms are like being like auctioned
Yeah,
off.
auctioned
I was
off.
like, wait a second,
Like,
hold
from-
on. Why did we just take them?
Yeah.
And I told Justin too. I said, whoever bought that, I'm gonna hunt him down. And I'm gonna jump him for it. Like I want it. And sure enough, he was the one that got it for me. So I'm not gonna jump you. Justin. I love you. Thank you.
That's awesome.
That's a cool dude.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the same thing. Like, what would I do? Would it be? It would not be an award. It would not be a trophy, right? I mean, there's some that like I liked, like that they maybe don't mean like that big a deal. Like, oh, you took second place. Like, yeah, but I beat David Douglas, so that was cool to me, right?
Right.
So, but there's a photo that I have of myself, John Worley, and then my first instructor, Scott Masterton. And it would either be, it wouldn't be any certificate. I think it would either be that or my belt. It would be it. But isn't that interesting? Like, I was just thinking about that. I didn't have an answer when I asked the question either. None of us said an award.
Right.
But I also don't have a diamond ring. If I had a diamond ring, I can promise you it would be that.
Yeah. I would
I
say the
I
same.
can 1,000% say if I had a diamond ring, that would, and I could only say one martial arts thing, it'd be that. So I'm a little surprised neither one of you guys said those. Since you guys have multiple. I'm just saying.
Alex, like you mentioned, like, how certain tournaments, like sometimes, like the first place is great, but even the second place, because it meant more, right?
That's what I'm
Like
saying.
me, even like the year that my first place at the battle reminds me in 99 was bigger than my ISKA title 99, because the ISKA title was a separate, they did traditional and open back or back then, it was the first time they ever did. It was the first year they did a traditional overall, right? But in a battle, we were all together, and I tied Jimmy Pham for the runoff to get on stage. Like that was even harder, and beating like Butch Marks and all those guys to get on stage with the traditional forms, which at the time was no one
It was
did. Right?
impossible.
Yeah, and so that means more to me than even winning the overall grand in traditional. You know, it's just there's different things like that, right?
Yeah,
So
there's levels
not
to it.
always the championship or the first place. It's what it took to get there, right?
Right.
I love that. I love that.
Do you like
Awesome.
that, Jeff? Do you like that little thing? That was
good.
cool.
That was cool. I liked it. I liked it. All right, let's get to this last thing. I know we kind of guys, we will talk all night, which you guys I think would probably with us too.
I know I can talk all night. I'm sorry about that.
We love martial arts, you know what I mean? If people don't know, like we do this every week for over 6 years now, and we just have fun with it. And people ask, well, why do you guys do it? Because we love it and it's fun. And it's fun. So all right. We're gonna talk about top 5 Diamonds moments. I'm gonna be honest with you, I probably will do this off the top of my head, but it is hard, and it's just like I said, it's gonna be things that bring memories to me, or just were huge to me. All right, do you guys have any you want to share that you can think of?
I think one for me that I think is just legendary, like for Paul Mitchell and for just I think all forms competitors was Kalaman's last double sword form.
Yes.
You can't talk
Yeah.
about best moments of Diamonds and not say that one, because that was just it was great. Like
Yeah.
The other day, it was awesome. Still to this day, holds the same amount of weight. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, and I think I think that's one of those ones that I'll watch at least 3 times a year. You know,
Yeah.
It's like,
Right.
like I definitely will. Like, hey, you guys got to watch this. Yeah, and like you said, it still stands true right now. Like you watch and you're still impressed by it, and just the emotion he had as well. You know, that one is definitely in my top 5. That's probably. Alex, where do you have that in yours? Is that 1 or 2 for you?
It's 1.
It's 1. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. For me, so that would be my 2. We're just gonna go random because for my 1, it's John Valera's.
I'll let you go. I'm because I'm
number
gonna go
1,
rapid fire. when I do
always
mine.
go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But right now we're like we mentioned ones that are not. We're just gonna do it different than we ever had because Alex and Haley are on. So why not? Let's do it different, right? My number 1 is John Valera's last Diamond Nationals. Now, again, the reason why that's important to me is because that was my coach, and I've known him forever. And pretty much it signified almost for me, not just the end of seeing him there, but it was the end of him being my coach because, guys, we didn't have Zoom back then. So he moved to California. I was pretty much, you know what I mean? So that was a very emotional time for me. Also, Stephanie Flowers, too. Both of us were like his top 2 competitors at the time. And we didn't know what he was going to do. You know, he was definitely going to be focusing on the stunts and everything. I was already on a team with Team Elite and Team CJB. So when he started Valera later on, it sucked because we couldn't really be on it. We were like, hey, can we at least get a uniform? Like we were your first, you know, like it was just one of those things. Right. But that was
like at that time when they did Valera, like, you weren't Filipino, so you couldn't be on the team.
It wouldn't have made sense anyway. It wouldn't have made sense. No, I know. So that was those 2 are my number 1s, 1 and 2. 3 for me is Pedro Xavier's retirement. Because of the way that it went out with him, you know, it was like Jody. What people think is that Jody was on JPM already. I think it was like he was about to get on it, right? And so the next tournament,
he was just wearing he was just plain uniform, bright red.
So in some people, it was kind of a cool way of like, hey, this is who we want to take this position, right? And so, and honestly, at those times, those 2 guys were 2 of the hardest workers there were. And a lot of people said that if anyone could have, you know, replaced that work ethic that Pedro had, Jody was that guy, right? And so it was really cool to see that. So again, like what I said in the beginning, like Diamonds, like retirements, are just huge moments, right? Just huge things. So, so that's one. And then I'm going to go to like upsets, because the 93 Diamond Nationals had several upsets, and some of you guys may not know any of these names, and that's fine. I'll show my age. But to me, it was Dave McCumber and Don San Maria both won the Diamonds, and they were the last people that anyone thought were going to win that, right?
Yeah.
I think Dave McCumber was great, but like that was one of his only grands that he had won, kind of like what you talked about. And, you know, at those Diamonds, it would be like Christine would be someone who they thought would win. And Dawn ended up winning with a traditional form. And then, you know, Chris Casamassa, Ho Young Pak, Larry Lamb, all of these great, you know, guys who were legends and movie stars. And Dave, you know, and Dave actually was a stunt guy as well. But Dave won that. So that was a big one for me. And then number 5, it's going to be the it's a Diamonds moment, but I hate it because it's seeing one of my best friends lose. And it was just the Jack versus Raymond fight, you know, like at was that 2014. And that one, you know, like was hard to see because it was the highs and lows of like watching. At one point, I'm like, Jack's gonna win this. Jack's gonna finally want to win this diamond. And then to see just the greatness of Raymond, you know, and just the professionalism and that both those guys and the friendship those guys have, you know, like people don't really understand, you know, like just they grew up together, you know, Raymond coaching him, doing this, that, but pushing to have someone that you train to get up to that level with you that is going head to head. I mean, that's just amazing. And that kind of goes back to Haley, what you're talking about is like the, you know, that is that definition of getting someone to the same level as you and beyond, right? So yeah, I went backwards this time, Alex, but you know,
it's all right. Like I said, I'm gonna go rapid fire because there's so many moments.
We could do a top 10, top 20, whatever. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, we 100% can. So I'm gonna rifle through some that are like just honorable mentions, and so I'll try to hit some of the ones first you mentioned. What I do?
Go ahead.
So I think 2014 Ray versus Jack, I think was a huge thing that you talked about. 1999 John Valera going out with that ridiculously long intro before he had like a whole form's worth of performance time before he even walked onto the stage. Right.
Dude, people were trying to find him. His music was going, and he wasn't even near the stage. That's what was so cool. He was just walking around.
Did he leave the building?
Yeah, this was back when we were like in a stadium. When I mean an arena, and so he's walking around. Like, it was cool.
2006 when Marcel Jones did at that time a creative form and won the ring against Steve Tirada and
Marcel's
Matt Emig, Mark Canonizato, like, and he immediately was like, I can't, if I do my flash kick, it's not going to be like Steve's. If I do my twist combo, it's not going to be like, and so he just didn't do them. So that was huge. We mentioned 2011 Kalman Choka, but 2011 Matt Emig was something.
Yeah.
It was one of the best performances that didn't win anything, right? In the end. The 2004 super fights in general, it was the first one, was huge. It was like, if you were to just say, hey, I just want all of these fighters in it because they're the best, that's who made it. It was crazy, right? Then 2005, Jason Borelli versus Greg Betlock for that super fight that went into like double overtime. After they had just done that, like 2 weeks prior at the battle, was really cool. This one was not a performance or competition at all. Jeff, remember the 1998 intermission with the Jungle Care?
Oh yeah,
that whole little comedy skit that they did, wasn't that cool?
Yeah. I'm trying to remember the name of it. Yeah, but that was cool. Man, I can't believe you remember.
Probably one of the greatest performances that everyone forgets about is Ho Sung Pak, who's the only one who got all tens.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever gotten all tens except for him. I think it was 1990. The 2007 Ray versus Damon team fights when they had a brawl in the middle of the ring. That was awesome, right?
Yeah. That happens. That happened often.
2018 when Avery and Ray and Ross, the way that fight ended with that hook kick at the end, amazing. You mentioned 1998 Jotty versus Pedro.
Yeah.
And it was a totally different Jotty, right? Who is like a lead leg, predominantly kicker Jotty.
Yeah.
2000 Ray versus Brian Ruth. Epic. His first ring, and Brian was the big American badass, and he was like, I'm just gonna bust this guy up, and could not.
Yeah.
Those are the honorable mentions. Now here it comes.
Dang.
I tried to go fast. 1997 Nikki Carlson Lee versus Sula Masny, which went into overtime. Amazing fight, right?
That was
the only fight that Nikki really almost lost, right? At the Diamonds, because she's undefeated there, right? 1996 Mike Pombiero versus Brian Ruth,
that was
also
amazing.
went into overtime. Epic fight. If you guys really want to, YouTube these things. I'm sure Wally Faulkner has them, right? These guys had a lot of battles. This one was their best. 2010 Hamid Feruzzi versus Jason Borelli. That super fight final was by far the best. In 1994, did not win, but it is by far the best. I'm surprised you didn't have it on your list, Jeff. Carmichael Simon's performance of when he was the Crow.
Yeah,
that's my second, right there.
Yeah,
and then, as everyone accurately should say, 2011 Kalman Choka is the greatest performance that tournament has had.
Alex, you got any other ones to add? I know we shared a lot, but
Shoot, I literally told her as soon as you mentioned about like top moments, I'm like, oh man, I'm like terrible with like sport karate history. But I will say this: I will say I enjoyed seeing like Jack and Ray go at it, or Ross and Ray go at it. I remember seeing Ross beat Ray in the daytime, like when Ross, like I think he was on Full Circle or before that.
Alex, you're 100% right. I left that off. That should have been mentioned. That was the first round in the division. You're right.
I remember that. That was one of the I think one of the first fights, like when I first met Ross and I started like learning from him. That was one of the first ones I saw, and I was like, dang, that's Raymond Daniels. And then I kept going and started seeing all of their battles, but that sticks out a lot for sure. Like Ray and, like I said, Ray and Ross, I love seeing their fights.
Fun fact, Full Circle was like my first dream team.
Yeah.
I really wanted to be on it as when it was no longer, but I remember doing a Full Circle camp when Ross was still on the team, Justin was still on the team. Like prime Full Circle, I got to do a camp with them, so that was fun.
I think if they would have hung on a couple more years, you probably could have been on the team.
I was hoping.
Oh man, that's amazing. That's amazing. So go ahead.
Just two more things. Not like super crazy, but I don't know why his like Diamond Nationals performances were always my favorite. Austin Jorgensen's. Were always like, I don't know, they're always really cool to me. Like I really, really enjoyed watching them. And then we can't forget. I thought it was, I mean, good for them. Not funny, but it was kind of funny when Sun Gao won. I think in like maybe 2013, 2014, and then
2013
brought his girl on stage and proposed.
Yeah,
that was one of the best and funniest moments.
Right, I was like, no way, this is happening right now.
I mean, it was the way he said it too, right?
Yeah.
And I remember I was sitting next to Emily Cooper, and she's like, "Who in the world gave this funny Chinese man a microphone?"
Oh gosh,
It's great.
Yeah, he talked about that on the show too when he came on. That was a funny story. He was like,
man,
"Listen,
amazing.
before I couldn't really afford a ring, so hey, now I got one. I won one, so here we go." Like, hey, I mean, dude. Oh, I love this. I love this. Hey, this is so much fun. Thank you guys for coming on. Again, you guys, we didn't even get into all. I mean, there's so much more we could discuss, but again, we got to have you guys back on. I look forward to seeing both you guys this weekend. We're all going to have some great weekends, and I can't believe, Alex, you're not going to be at the Diamonds. This is
I
crazy.
can't believe it either.
No,
Uh,
yeah.
Yeah, it's a good but bad business move. Good because it's good business. Bad because I can't go. What do you do?
You know. Oh man. Well, thank you guys so much. Keep inspiring and keep doing what you do. And we will see you soon. And just keep going. Looking forward to seeing y'all this weekend.
Heck
Good
yeah.
skills to everyone there.
Thank
This
you.
has been another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I'm Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. See you guys next week.